For 7 years, I supported Kevin Joe. And for 7 years, I loved him. He finally agreed to be with me. Only later did I learn his heart belonged to his childhood sweetheart all along. He resented me bitterly, believing I'd used money to humiliate him. Through 10 years of marriage, his indifference chilled our home until he abandoned it completely, rebuilding his life with her. Left in empty rooms, I withered away. When fate returned me to the day I first offered him support, I saw Luna Lynn clinging to Kevin as she spat at me. "Think your money makes you special? We don't want it." I laughed. "You flatter yourselves. I'd rather burn this cash than spend it on either of you." "Sophia, shun. You're just some rich bitch. Money doesn't make you better than us. We don't need your charity." Watching Luna draped over Kevin, my vision swam until his gaze locked onto mine. At 20, Kevin still carried youthful vitality in his faded denim jacket. Yet his striking features, the angular jaw, towering frame, and piercing starlit eyes, somehow transformed thrift into elegance. I staggered back, bracing against the table to steady myself. How long had it been since I'd seen this version of Kevin? 10 years. Or 20. Too long to remember clearly. After all, that was a lifetime ago. Kevin Joe froze momentarily as I stepped back. Luna Lynn kept chattering away, but her words had already faded into white noise for me. Everything unfolding before me was identical to that previous life. Just like back then, he refused my financial help, yet I stubbornly insisted on supporting him. I'd loved Kevin Joe for 7 years. I knew about his family's hardships. His father was a degenerate gambler who'd only ever come home drunk after losing everything, taking his rage out on Kevin and his mother with fists and curses. Mrs. Joe couldn't endure the abuse any longer. In the end, she walked into the river. Since childhood, Kevin had survived by collecting scrap metal, taking odd jobs, and relying on academic scholarships to stay in school. Our paths were never meant to cross, but his academic brilliance earned him a scholarship at our elite private high school, their concession to maintaining prestige through college admission rates. That's how we became classmates. Our social circle back then consisted of spoiled heirs and heiresses coasting through life, waiting to collect foreign degrees before inheriting family fortunes. Kevin was different, focused and driven. He absorbed every lesson in class before rushing to part-time work when the bell rang. Poverty never shamed him. He carried himself with quiet dignity that demanded respect. That was when I fell for him. Because I loved him, I couldn't bear to see him struggle. Back when I was young and foolish, I always presumptuously shoved everything I thought was good at him. When he had to work nights and couldn't make breakfast, I'd bring him homemade lunches from my house. "Kevin Joe, my housekeeper makes the best Wagyu beef. You've got to try this. And this foie gras, my dad had it specially airlifted from France. It's incredible." I was the pampered only child back then, raised in privilege with everyone spoiling me rotten until my head was full of air. I just wanted to give him the very best things, completely oblivious to whether he actually wanted them. Classmates started jeering. "Sophia, shun. What does he know about foie gras? Huh, the guy probably can't even afford chicken livers." I snapped back. "None of your damn business." I didn't notice Kevin Joe's bloodless fingers clenching around the lunchbox. After a pause, he handed it back to me coldly. "Thanks for your kindness, but I'm fine without it." "Oh, come on, Kevin," some boy smirked. "If you play your cards right with Sophia Shin here, you'll never have to work another day in your life." "Yeah, then your old man can gamble away whatever he wants without touching your tuition money." Ha ha ha. The whole room erupted in cruel laughter. I slammed my desk. "Shut the hell up, all of you." The others fell silent, but Kevin Joe stood abruptly and walked out without another word. I chased after him, trying to shove the lunchbox into his hands. "Kevin Joe, don't listen to their nonsense. Eat this now, or your body won't last through your night shift." He stopped abruptly and whirled around. I froze. His eyes burned with pure hatred and disgust. Teenagers have notoriously short memories. I soon forgot that incident and continued pestering Kevin Joe. For him, I even started studying seriously and got into the same university. My father was so delighted he couldn't stop grinning. doubling my allowance. University life made Kevin even busier. His financial aid application got rejected, and some well-connected classmate snatched his poverty relief quota. At his worst, he could only afford one steamed bun from the canteen each day, supplementing it with free soup. I couldn't bear watching and offered to support him, but he refused, working 3 jobs daily. He eventually collapsed on the street from exhaustion. That's when I finally snapped, grabbing him and forcing money into his hands. "Kevin Joe, why won't you take my money? What's the point of killing yourself like this?" I went to his homeroom teacher and forcibly paid his tuition. By then, I'd grown wiser, learning to protect his pride. So, during meals, I'd always drag him along, claiming I'd ordered too much and needed him to help finish. Whenever we went out, I'd always claim to have scored free coupons and drag him along with me. Gradually, Kevin Joe and I seemed to grow closer. I supported him all through his graduation, even sponsoring his childhood sweetheart alongside him just to see him happy. After graduation, Kevin Joe started his own business. He'd always been top of his class. During school, he developed a gaming app with friends but kept hitting walls, unable to secure investment no matter how hard he tried. I couldn't bear seeing him so defeated, so I simply asked my father to invest in him. I remember how silent Kevin was that entire evening. Just as I was dozing off against his shoulder, he suddenly spoke. "Sophia Shun, why are you doing this?" At the time, I thought he meant, "Why are you so good to me?" So I answered with easy confidence, "Because I like you." "Kevin Joe, do you like me back?" I tugged at his arm playfully. "After all I've done for you, if you still won't be with me, that'd make you utterly heartless." Truthfully, I was only joking then, but when Kevin stayed silent, I took it as tacit agreement, and just like that, we became a couple. 2 years later, Kevin Joe and I married. The wedding was hastily arranged. Kevin said he disliked crowds, so we only invited a few tables of close relatives and friends. All of them were my relatives and friends. Over there, he was completely alone. Even after marriage, Kevin Joe remained as distant as ever toward me. Back then, I was truly foolish. I thought that was just his nature. After all, I'd chased after him for so many years. Surely, if I kept being good to him, even a heart of stone would eventually warm to me. But I never imagined his heart truly was unthawable, because his heart had always belonged to someone else. By our 3rd year of marriage, the rift between us became irreparable. I could no longer endure his daily indifference. I confronted him. Did he still love his childhood sweetheart? He just stared coldly at me, silent, pushed to the edge. He'd simply slam the door and leave. His emotional neglect drove me to obsession and rage. Every time he returned, I'd hound him with accusations. During our worst fight, I spat venom. "If I'd known you'd be this ungrateful, I should have raised a dog instead. At least it would wag its tail for me." For a fleeting moment, fury twisted his face before icy composure returned. After that day, he stopped coming home altogether. Later, I learned he'd already reunited with that childhood sweetheart. They built a new life together elsewhere, even had a child. All those years, he'd been living in domestic bliss, just not with me, alone in this desolate home. All my love fermented into venomous hatred. Kevin Joe's startup succeeded. He became wealthier than my father ever was. I had no means to retaliate against him. The only weapon left to me was my marriage. I staked my entire existence on this vengeance, refusing divorce at any cost. No matter the sums he offered, he ruined me. I'd ensure he never knew peace. The woman he loved would forever remain a shameful secret. His child with another would never be more than a bastard born in shadows. Kevin dared not sue for divorce either. Our marital scandal would crater the company's stock, and the board would never allow it. So we remained locked in this decade-long stalemate. Through all my hysterics, my madness, even my eventual broken pleas, his heart never wavered. Not once did he return to see me. Day after hopeless day, I withered like blighted foliage, my body succumbing to illness. In the end, I perished from sorrow. Sophia Shun? I snapped back to reality, turning toward Kevin Joe. A primordial hatred surged through my veins, my heart pounding so violently I nearly collapsed. After my death, he must have finally gotten what he wanted. Perhaps the way he treated me was always meant to hasten my demise. I still remember how my medicine was suddenly switched before my death. When I questioned the butler, he merely claimed it was a gentler prescription. I suspected nothing, yet soon after taking it, my health deteriorated rapidly until I couldn't even sit upright. Before long, I breathed my last. It was him. Who else could it be? No one hated me as he did, wishing me dead with such fervor. He wanted Luna Lynn to take my place. How vicious. Staring at Kevin Zhou, I clench my fists, suppressing the urge to lunge at him. This hatred consumes me. I'd wronged him in nothing, save perhaps my youthful insensitivity toward his pride. I never forced marriage upon him. I'd even asked if he was willing, offering to wait if he wasn't. Yet he loathed me so. Luna Lynn shrieked at me just as she had in my past life. Sophia Shun, you think wealth makes you superior? How dare you humiliate people like this? I studied her, clad in a white dress, fragile as a snowdrop. This was the woman Kevin Zhou loved enough to kill for, to crown in my stead. In my past life, it was the same. Kevin Zhou and I were having a civil conversation. I told him that if he felt uncomfortable, he could repay the tuition once he started earning, treating it as a loan for me. But Luna Lynn suddenly accused me of throwing money at people, saying I'd insulted Kevin. It was only later, during my arguments with Kevin, that I gradually understood. Turns out, he'd always believed I was using money to humiliate him. I suddenly found it all absurdly laughable. Watching Luna's overprotective stance, I curled my lips into a smirk. You flatter yourselves. I'd rather burn this money than fund either of you. Kevin's face darkened instantly. For a moment, Luna's expression went blank. What did you say? I smiled. Didn't you both claim my financial support was an insult? We're classmates. How could I possibly demean you like this? Since that's how you feel, forget it. You can keep working those part-time jobs. Luna's family situation mirrored Kevin's. A father who fled with debts unpaid. A mother who ruined her health working menial jobs to fund her education. Now bedridden at home, perhaps because of their shared struggles. She'd always clung to Kevin, orbiting him like a satellite. She'd insist on tagging along whenever Kevin and I went out, no matter how I resisted. When I refused, she'd hide behind him and whimper pitifully at me. Sister Nanji, do you look down on me for being poor? Is that why you don't want to be friends with me? Before I could respond, Kevin Zhou would shield her behind him and say in a low voice, if you think we're beneath you, then don't come along. I had no choice but to bring her with me. She was there during meals. She would tilt her head at the lobster on the plate and ask, do you eat such luxurious food every day? Then, with a tone of wistful envy, we really don't belong to the same world, do we? Several times when Kevin and I were having a perfectly pleasant conversation, she'd suddenly say something like that. And just like that, the warmth would drain from Kevin's expression as he fell silent. At first, I thought it was unintentional, until one day, when I turned back to say something to Kevin as we walked together, I caught the way she was looking at me. Luna Lynn's face was expressionless, but her eyes seethed with venomous resentment. Caught off guard by my glance, she quickly forced a smile, yet a chill ran down my spine. Only then did it dawn on me. She detested me, or rather, she hated me. Truth be told, when Kevin and I first married, we did have a brief period of harmony. Back then, his company had just stabilized and secured its first major contract. After the victory banquet, he drunkenly slung an arm around me and slurred with a grin. Wifey, tell me what you want. Your man's buying it for you. My heart ached knowing how hard he worked for the money, so I just held him tight, perfectly content. It's all right. Your thought alone makes me happy. But he wouldn't take no for an answer, squaring his shoulders stubbornly. A man earns money for his wife to spend. I'm buying you a bag. What kind do you want? Even as he drifted off to sleep, the words still tumbled from his lips. Nanji, I've got money now. You don't have to suffer with me anymore. True to his word, he bought me a bag the very next day. Except before I could even speak, Luna Lynn tagged along uninvited. Her expression turned peculiar as she eyed the bag in my hands. Then she yanked it right from my grasp and chirped to Kevin Joe. "Oh, this bag. I remember Nanji had one just like it in college. Some boy who liked her gave it to her. Back then, she said it was too cheap to even carry around." Truthfully, I'd long forgotten if any of that ever happened. But Kevin's face darkened instantly. He snatched the bag back and walked out without another word. After that, he grew distant, and the next time I saw that bag, it was slung over Luna's shoulder. A faint smile played at her lips as she feigned nonchalance, saying, "Sophia, Kevin gave me this bag. You're not upset, are you?" Of course I refused, demanding she return the bag to me. Panic flashed across her face as she looked at me with red-rimmed eyes. "You already have so many bags. Why must you fight me for this one? You have everything. I only have this." Kevin's face darkened as he roughly pulled me away. "Let go. If you don't even care about it, why fight her for it? Or do you just enjoy taking what others want?" Back then, my pride was too great to tolerate such humiliation. We had a fierce argument and parted on bitter terms. Only later did I understand. It was never about the bag for Luna. What she really meant was Kevin himself. She believed I had stolen him from her. That was why she hated me so. "Sophia," Kevin suddenly grabbed my arm in near panic. "Wait." I turned back, freezing momentarily at the look in his eyes. Dark emotions surged beneath his gaze, as if something long suppressed was about to erupt. Even his voice carried a tremor. "No, this isn't how it's supposed to be. Sophia Shun, why did you stop sponsoring me? Didn't you adore me?" His outburst startled me. What's wrong with Kevin Joe? Has he lost his mind? Or is he angry about how I spoke to Luna Lynn? But in my past life at this point, I hadn't even pursued him yet. He was always ice cold toward me, never cracking a smile. Is he having some kind of episode? I tried to pull my hand away. "Let go of me," but he only tightened his grip, his eyes even reddening slightly. "Sophia Shun, don't you like me anymore? Are you abandoning me?" Now, I was genuinely frightened. When had Kevin Joe ever spoken to me like this? My eyes widened. "Kevin Joe, what the hell's wrong with you? Are you high or possessed?" He didn't answer, just stared at me unblinking with that obsessive, deranged look. My temper flared. After how he treated me in my past life, he dares glare at me now. Didn't you think my financial support was humiliating, Kevin Joe? Or were you just shamelessly waiting for me to beg you a freeloader with audacity? Luna Lynn's mouth fell open, clearly shocked I'd speak to Kevin Joe this way. Then again, this was around the time I'd been most infatuated with him in my past life. Back then, I weighed every word carefully, terrified of bruising his pride. But none of that matters to me now. "Kevin Joe, who the hell do you think you are?" I sneered, a heart of a wolf and lungs of a dog. Such ingratitude after kindness shown. I can't fathom how I ever fell for someone like him. To my surprise, Kevin Joe didn't erupt in anger. Instead, all color drained from his face, leaving him deathly pale. I wrenched my hand free and walked away without a backward glance. The card I gave Kevin Joe held 200,000 yuan, enough to cover his tuition and living expenses. I took the card straight to the mall. Why endure the hassle of giving him money when I could buy myself a few more bags instead? In my past life, apart from that one solitary bag, Kevin never gifted me anything again. Birthdays, anniversaries, holidays. He never remembered. Or perhaps he simply didn't care. Meanwhile, Luna Lynn had somehow transformed into a wealthy socialite. She splurged Kevin's money recklessly, buying bags, watches, and designer clothes by the hundreds of thousands. Every new purchase was flaunted in front of me. "Sister Nan, Kevin specially brought this back from Paris for me." She'd simper. "What did he get you?" Oh, she'd cover her mouth with a titter. "Don't tell me he brought you nothing?" Cue another explosive fight with Kevin, driving us further apart. Looking back now, why should someone as wealthy as me crave gifts from a man? If I want something, I'll damn well buy it myself. With that 200 grand, I bought 4 bags and still had 100,000 left to spare. On my way back to campus, whether by fate or misfortune, I spotted Luna Lynn and Kevin Joe the moment I stepped off the bus. Her expression twisted the instant she saw the luxury shopping bags weighing down my hands, jealousy and bitterness leaking through her poorly maintained composure. Back then, Kevin was still penniless, and Luna was no better. Her white dress frayed at the seams despite her desperate attempts to trim the loose threads and iron it smooth. One glance revealed it as cheap roadside stall merchandise. "Sophia, you're really loaded, huh?" I realized Luna could switch faces faster than a card shark. One moment she'd been sneering Shin Sophia, scoffing that my stinking money meant nothing. Now she was calling me Sophia like we were sisters. Her fingers clenched into fists as she stared holes through my Chanel bag. Chanel bags must cost a fortune. A single one could cover our tuition for years. She sidled up to Kevin, murmuring just loud enough. "We really don't belong to the same world, do we?" In the past, I'd have rushed to defend myself, but I was never good with words. The more I explained, the more it pissed Kevin off. "Now, to hell with that." I smiled sweetly. "Seems you're not just broke, but slow too." Only realizing this now. My 300 square meter luxury flat downtown and your 30 square meter rundown apartment in the suburban area? Of course we're not from the same world. Luna Lynn's face turned ashen, her features momentarily contorted. I walked over and enunciated each word deliberately. "Luna Lynn, you'll never belong in my world. Go ahead and die jealous." "Kevin." She quickly regained composure, ready to play the victim for Kevin Joe. I scoffed derisively. "All you know is hiding behind men, like some sewer-dwelling cockroach. Don't bother with Kevin either. You two deserve each other. Equally disgusting." After cursing out that wretched pair that day, I went home in high spirits. Not that I'd forgiven them. I still remember their drugging scheme from my past life. But for one, that particular crime hadn't happened yet in this timeline, leaving me no proof. More importantly, I refused to waste another lifetime on such trash. Enduring their torment once was painful enough. This time, I'd keep my distance. Whether they thrived or crashed, it meant nothing to me now. I wanted a clean slate for my new beginning. Yet despite my resolve, those two kept haunting me like vengeful spirits. Within days, a friend sought me out, gleefully reporting, "Since you cut off Kevin Joe and Luna Lynn, they're utterly destitute. Can't even scrape together tuition. I heard Kevin Joe is working like crazy these days." The other day, Luna Lynn wanted to buy the new dress, but it cost just 80 yuan, and she couldn't scrape together enough even after trying WeChat Pay, Alipay, and her debit card. She had to sell that iPhone you bought her just to barely cover tuition. It took me a while to recall. In my past life around this time, I'd given Kevin the latest iPhone because his old one seemed outdated. Yet the very next day, I saw that phone in Luna's hands. Lowering my gaze, I remarked dryly, "Is that so? How utterly destitute." But before I could take 2 steps, Luna blocked my path. Her face flushed with agitation as she grabbed my arm indignantly. "Sophia Shun, why did you stop sponsoring Kevin? Do you even know he has the highest GPA in the department? If his education gets derailed because of tuition, can you bear that responsibility?" I froze momentarily before bursting into incredulous laughter. In my past life, I eventually realized what kind of people they truly were. They want others' money, but can't swallow their pride, biting the hand that feeds them, utterly shameless to the core. Whether he's first or last means nothing to me. I shrugged. "I'm not his damn father." "How can you say that?" As classmates who knew us gather around, Luna grew even more theatrical, eyes welling with tears, playing the fragile white flower defying tyranny. "A single bag of yours could cover our tuition for years. What's wrong with you supporting us? Or are you just that selfish, willing to waste money rather than help those in need?" She probably assumed everyone was like Kevin Joe, easily brainwashed by her shameless rhetoric. Before I could speak, my friend cut in first. Her family background was similar to mine, but her temper was far fiercer. She sneered at Luna Lynn. "Which mental hospital left its door open and let a dumbass like you escape? If you want money, go beg. Or better yet, sell yourself. Sure, you're ugly, but some will pay 80 a pop. 10 rounds for 800. 100 and there's your tuition. You've got arms, legs, kidneys, and genitals. Why shamelessly beg like others are you? Who the hell do you think you are? Luna Lynn had always played the delicate, manipulative game, never faced such blunt, expletive-laden fury. She froze, speechless. Other classmates chimed in. Exactly. Apply for financial aid if you're broke. Who demands money with that attitude? No shame at all. No wonder she's penniless. Luna Lynn took a step back, eyes wide with disbelief. I smirked. I regularly treated classmates to bubble tea and covered meals out. Of course they'd side with me. Looking back now, what did Luna Lynn ever have besides Kevin Joe? There wasn't a single thing she could best me at. If I hadn't been utterly bewitched by Kevin Joe in my past life, someone like her would never have crossed my path. Just then, Kevin Joe suddenly appeared. Kevin. Luna Lynn clung to him like a drowning woman grasping at straws, her tear-filled eyes trembling on the verge of spilling. I just asked Sophia Shun to sponsor you a little. She can afford all those designer bags but won't help you. I don't know what I did to offend her. She said such horrible things to me. Sophia, she instantly switched tones, her voice quivering with manufactured hurt. I know you look down on me, but everything I do is for Kevin's sake. He's so brilliant. Disgust churned in my gut. Luna Lynn was like a toad jumping onto your foot, not poisonous, but revolting all the same. The most infuriating part was how she haunted me like a specter, impossible to shake off. Kevin Joe frowned slightly. You insulted her? I couldn't help but laugh derisively. Predictable. He never changed. The moment Luna Lynn played the victim, he'd immediately take her side and reprimand me without hearing the full story. In the past, this would send me into a furious, heartbroken rage, stomping my feet during arguments only to cry alone afterward. But not anymore. I lifted my gaze to meet Kevin Joe's eyes. Yes, she's right. I did insult her. Yet to my surprise, Kevin Joe showed no anger. He lowered his head, his tone gentle, almost ingratiating. Then she must have done something wrong to upset you. Then he turned to Luna Lynn and said coolly, Nanji isn't unreasonable. You should apologize to her. I was dumbfounded, wondering if I was still dreaming. Luna Lynn was also stunned, her lips trembling before she finally whispered, Kevin, what did you just say? Kevin's expression turned icy. I said apologize. Luna's eyes reddened as she took a disbelieving step back, her teeth clenched, voice choked with tears. How could you do this? I was equally baffled. Kevin Joe actually made his precious Luna apologize to me. Had he lost his mind? A fleeting thought crossed my mind. Could it be he'd also been reborn? But I dismissed it immediately. Impossible. In our past life, Kevin had hated me so much, he poisoned me to death. If he'd been reborn, he'd have stayed far away from me from the start. He must have some other scheme in mind. I stepped back, eyeing him warily. Kevin Joe flinched as if my gaze had physically wounded him, looking at me with hurt eyes. Nanji, I know I was wrong before. Please forgive me, won't you? Didn't you like me? Let's be together. I'll make up for everything I owe you. His voice grew increasingly agitated until he was staring at me with desperate intensity, as if I were some long-lost treasure, finally returned to him. His words trembled with barely restrained emotion. This was absurd. I clenched my fists involuntarily. In my past life, I chased after him relentlessly, wasted an entire lifetime, all for these very words. Yet, when I died, I never even heard him say he liked me. Now, in this life, when I've done exactly as he claimed, insulted and humiliated him, he suddenly declares his feelings. What, then, was the meaning of everything I sacrificed before? A mocking smile twisted my lips as I spat with disgust. Be with you? Kevin Joe, what makes you think you're worthy of standing beside me? A single outfit I'm wearing costs more than 3 years of your wages. The audacity. What gives you the right? Didn't he think I was humiliating him? Then, let him taste true humiliation. As expected, Kevin's face drained of color. He pleaded desperately, I may have nothing now, but just wait. I'll make something of myself. I swear. He wasn't wrong about that. He did become quite wealthy later, but What does that have to do with me? The hatred and disgust in my heart were nearly unbearable. I looked at him with contempt and said, Kevin Zhou, even if every other man in the world dropped dead, I'd never be with you. After I left that day, Kevin Zhou kept staring after me, utterly devastated. He looked pitiful, his shoulders slumped as if the very soul had been drained from him. All I felt was cold amusement. I had no idea what Kevin Zhou was scheming, whether he'd suddenly had an epiphany or lost his mind altogether. The Sophia Shun who loved him unconditionally had died in her past life. In this lifetime, all I feel for him is hatred. Without my financial support, Kevin Zhou and Luna Lin fared even worse than before. Kevin's software never sold, and his startup collapsed. Rumor has it they're now so poor they might have to sell blood. But that's no longer my concern. Early the next morning, my phone rang. I picked it up and saw the name on the screen. Luke Chen, an old friend from another life. For a moment, I was dazed. To me, it had been over a decade since I'd last seen that name. When I was with Kevin Zhou, he disliked my privileged circle of friends and always forbade me from seeing them. Gradually, I drifted apart from them. This Luke Chen was the one Luna Lin mentioned, the guy who gifted me that designer bag. Our families have been close for generations, and we've been good friends since childhood. When I answered the call, his excited voice crackled through the receiver. Nanji, I heard you finally gave Kevin Zhou a piece of your mind? Before I could respond, he barreled on. About damn time. That bastard mooched off you while gaslighting you. We all saw it but couldn't say shit. Thank God you finally woke up. I smiled faintly. What's up? Gathering tonight. Same old bar. 8 p.m. You better show. After hanging up, it took me a long moment to recall that same old place was the bar we used to frequent. Our childhood crew often hung out there. But after getting together with Kevin, I'd all but stopped going out. I'd been a fiery spirit once. Yet, for love, I'd willingly declawed myself. I stopped visiting malls, learning instead to navigate flea markets and street vendors for the first time. Luxury brands disappeared from my wardrobe as I painstakingly selected bargain bin clothes, just so Kevin wouldn't frown when I stood beside him. I avoided our former dining spots, limiting outings to shared steam buns at Shaxian Delicacies. I'd shriveled into a timid, shrinking version of myself. All I wanted was for him to care for me, just a little more. I had loved him with every fiber of my being. At the bar that evening, Luke Chen was in high spirits, persistently urging me to drink. I didn't refuse, savoring this rare moment of ease. These friends were genuinely good people, especially Luke. Back when I got married, he'd even told me to come to him if Kevin Zhou ever mistreated me. He'd teach him a lesson, and he actually did confront Kevin later. At the time, I'd just discovered I was pregnant, the result of a drunken night when Kevin stumbled home. Overjoyed, I thought the child might finally win back his heart. But then Luna Lin found out about my pregnancy. She came to our home deliberately to provoke me, just as I reached my limit and raised my hand to strike her. Kevin walked in. He seized my wrist and shoved me away instinctively. I fell hard, my stomach slamming against the table's edge. Blood came immediately, and I was rushed to the hospital. Back then, I was young and strong, not yet the hollow shell I'd become. Against all odds, the baby survived, but Luna wouldn't let up. She came daily to hurl abuse, even calling me at 2 a.m. to force me to listen to her and Kevin's intimacy. Kevin's breath hitched as he murmured to her, "Relax." My stomach churned violently, clutching my mouth. I rushed to the bathroom and vomited until the world spun. I retched until tears mingled with gastric acid, leaving me shivering uncontrollably, my entire body gone cold. Raising my head, the woman in the mirror looked deathly pale, as if she might collapse any moment, with only bloodshot eyes staring vacantly back. Tears and mucus streaked my face. That day, I lost the child completely. The doctor insisted I rest properly and avoid emotional distress, but I couldn't control myself. When Kevin Zhou learned about the miscarriage, he stayed silent for a long time before uttering just one sentence. "We'll have another child someday." But I never did. He and Luna Lin, however, had a child together, a picture-perfect family. When Luke Chun found out, He stormed over and beat Kevin Joe half to death. Had I not pulled him away in the end, he might have killed him. As I held him back, his eyes burned crimson, screaming madly at Kevin. What did you promise when you married her? You swore you'd treat her right. She used to smile all the damn time. How could you fucking ruin her like this? That time, Kevin Joe didn't fight back. Wiping the blood from his split lip, he kept his head bowed in silence. What's on your mind? Luke shoved me. Drink. I clinked glasses with him and drained mine in one go. After several rounds, Luke Chen's face had flushed crimson. Leaning in, he whispered hoarsely, "You really don't like that Kevin Joe anymore?" When I met his gaze, he immediately looked away, the tips of his ears turning pink. I found it somewhat amusing. Luke had feelings for me. I knew that, but in my past life, I'd had eyes only for Kevin Joe, even going so far as to sever ties with Luke over him. Yet, whenever Kevin mistreated me, Luke would still be the first to stand up for me. If I were to choose someone now, I'd want someone like him. Only now do I understand. Love alone can't solve everything. Kevin and I came from different worlds, different upbringings, educations, circumstances. We were fundamentally mismatched. Raised in that kind of family, he'd armored himself early with thorns, prickly, hypersensitive, insecure, and cold. While I'd been coddled in honey since childhood, my family gave me the confidence to abandon everything for love, which became my tragedy. I believed love could sustain us through hardship, never realizing someone like Kevin couldn't be melted by passion alone. I nodded. Yeah, I was blind before. Luke lowered his head, inching closer as he murmured, "Then what about me?" Before he could finish, someone abruptly grabbed my wrist and yanked me up. Startled, I turned to see Kevin Joe's face, ghastly pale, with an expression that chilled me to the bone. His eyes were downcast, body rigid, his calm voice barely containing an emotion I couldn't decipher. "Come with me." I was practically dragged out the door by him. "Let go." I shoved him with all my strength. "Are you insane?" But Kevin's grip was ironclad, terrifying in its intensity. Ever since my rebirth, he'd been docile toward me, almost obsequiously so. Now his eyes were dark pools, his face an emotionless mask that unsettled me deeply. He rasped, "Sophia Shun, what did you just say?" I froze, then gritted my teeth. I said, "I don't like you anymore." I must have been blind before. "Don't like me?" Kevin let out a hollow laugh. Then he hauled me closer, his glare piercing as his voice turned arctic. "Say that again." For once, I was actually frightened by him. Was it all lies? Your confession, your promises to stay with me forever, was none of it real? Madness flickered in his expression, yet I stood frozen. Wait, that wasn't right. In this lifetime, I'd never actually said those words to him yet. These were the exact words I'd said to him in my past life, before we got married. My entire body trembled uncontrollably. How could he possibly know? Kevin Joe quickly realized his misstep and instinctively took a step back. I murmured, "Kevin Joe, you've come back too, haven't you?" He remained silent. The midnight wind held past with a mournful wail, dragging fallen leaves across the ground in a desolate, rustling procession. Occasionally, a car would pass by, its light flashing momentarily before vanishing back into the gloom. "Kevin Joe," I forced out an ugly smile. "How dare you?" He actually had been reborn as well, after what he did to me in our past life. How dare he say such things to my face now? That's what I said in my past life, and that's exactly what I did. But what was the result? I'll die with my eyes wide open. In this lifetime, I've finally come to my senses. I want to live properly now. Yet he had the audacity to reopen my wounds, laughing as he told me I'd never escape those wretched days. Kevin Joe flustered. "Nanji, let me explain. I was reborn too, but now I finally understand. I was such a scoundrel in my past life. I never realized I'd fallen for you long ago. Let me make it up to you, please." Crack. Kevin Joe turned his face away. I spoke through clenched teeth. "Kevin Joe, how dare you? How dare he confess his love so casually after hurting me like this?" That slap carried all my hatred behind it, every ounce of my strength. His split lip bled, but he merely wiped it away with eerie calm. Had enough? If not, he grabbed my hand and pressed it to his face. Hit me again. Though his words were vicious. His eyes reddened abruptly. Tears fell straight down. I was stunned. Kevin Joe had never cried before me. Not when his father gambled away his hard-saved tuition money and beat him black and blue in his darkest past life. Not when he collapsed from exhaustion, working 3 jobs on empty stomach. I'd once thought this man had a heart of stone. Yet here he was, weeping before me. Tears streaked through the blood on Kevin's lips as his composure shattered. Shoulders hunched in pleading. Nan-ji, come back. Kill me if you hate me that much. Just don't abandon me. I was nearly driven mad. Kevin Joe, have you lost your damn mind? What the hell is wrong with you? He lowered his head, voice trembling. I was too insecure back then, armored against the world, convinced everyone was out to hurt me. I didn't dare love you. I couldn't believe you truly loved me either. I feared that after surrendering to happiness, you'd suddenly declare me unworthy, that I was just some passing amusement. Sophia Shun, I was a fucking idiot. I deserved to die. Hit me, curse me. I don't care. Just, please come back. He wailed as if purging years of pent-up torment. You've no idea how I survived those years after you left. I can no longer restrain my sneer. Kevin Joe, wasn't Luna Lin your beloved? Didn't you poison me to death for her sake in our past life? Poison? Kevin froze. What poison? Still playing dumb? I gripped the roadside railing like a lifeline. Otherwise, I couldn't guarantee I wouldn't slap him again. Someone tampered with my medicine later. My condition had initially improved, but the more I took, the worse I became until I bit my tongue hard, metallic bitterness flooding my mouth. The man I loved murdered me for another woman. Even repeating it once more would be unbearable agony. I didn't. Kevin Joe protested urgently. I never would. I even told the butler to take good care of you. How could I possibly kill you? We locked eyes, mutual realization dawning between us. If it wasn't him, then the only other person who could have reached me, who wanted me dead, was Luna Lin. So it was Luna who killed me after all. My emotions churned, yet the truth wasn't hard to accept. Dead is dead. Does the killer's identity even matter? Even if Kevin wasn't the one, Luna murdered me for his sake. He's still complicit. A wave of desolation washed over me, an indescribable exhaustion seeping into my bones. Love, hate, I'm just so tired of it all. This lifetime, I only want to stay far away from him and live peacefully. The autumn rain came without warning, pelting the ground mercilessly as Kevin stood drenched in the downpour, his face streaked with indistinguishable raindrops or tears. Nanji, please. What about Luna then? I asked impassively. You even had a child together in our past life. Explain that. Kevin fell silent. After a long pause, he rasped out. She got me drunk. It only happened once. I curled my lips into a sardonic smile and said nothing. Kevin Joe bowed his head even lower. From beginning to end, it's only ever been you I loved. I never had feelings for Luna Lin. He continued. Just then, a woman's voice pierced through the darkness of the street. Then what am I? Luna Lin stepped out from the shadows. She still wore that old white dress, now soaked by rain and clinging to her skin. Kevin Joe, her face, was blank, but madness flickered in her eyes. You love her? Then what does that make me? All these years by your side, what was that worth? Kevin Joe clenched his fists until his knuckles whitened. The warmth in his gaze had vanished, replaced by pure hatred. Luna clearly hadn't been reborn. This was still the same Luna from our past life. She hasn't poisoned me this time. I can't even exact revenge. Kevin understood this too and remained silent. Luna froze. You hate me? Kevin Joe, you actually hate me? If you hadn't constantly driven a wedge between me and Nanji, we wouldn't be here, he said, voice glacial. I drove a wedge? Luna laughed, dropping all pretense. She sneered. Kevin Joe, if you weren't so insecure yet arrogant, how could my words have ever swayed you? You wanted her but were too cowardly to admit it. Now, you're blaming me for your own twisted mind? A vein throbbed violently on Kevin Joe's forehead. Sophia Shun, Luna Lin tilted her head, her expression one of artless confusion, as if posing an utterly inconsequential question. You already have everything. Why must you still steal Kevin Joe from me? She seemed to require no answer, continuing her soliloquy. You come from a good family. You're beautiful. Everyone orbits around you, loving you, indulging you. They lay your desires at your feet before you even voice them. With so many adoring you, why must you take Kevin Joe from me? Her voice trembled with clenched teeth desperation. He's all I have. Why must you snatch away the one person I own, when you already have so much? I replied calmly, Kevin Joe is his own person. His affections are his choice. I cannot force them. Besides, I never won. I lost completely. Did you? Luna Lin stepped closer. Only then did I notice she kept one hand hidden behind her back. A foreboding dread surged through me. As I recoiled, she suddenly brandished a dagger and lunged. Just die. Her face contorted with madness. Once you're gone, Kevin Joe will be mine again. Sophia Shun, how dare you be this happy? You deserve death. She was too close. I couldn't dodge in time. My dilated pupils reflected her bloodshot eyes. Just then, a tremendous force shoved me aside. The wet thud of blade piercing flesh was drowned by the rain. Luna Lin froze, staring blankly at Kevin Joe before her. Her dagger-clutching fingers began trembling as she stammered. Kevin, staggering backward. I turned to see the blade buried deep in Kevin's abdomen. Rainwater diluted the seeping blood into pale pink rivulets. He seemed unaware, simply smiling at me. As long as you're unharmed. By the time we reached the hospital, Kevin had slipped into complete unconsciousness. Severe blood loss sent him straight into ICU resuscitation. Luna was taken away by arriving officers. Only on the third day did Kevin regain consciousness. Entering the ward, I found myself choking on unspoken words as I gazed at him. Paper pale and frail, he still managed a strained smile. You're safe, Nanji. Emotions tangled inside me. Why take that stab for me? His lashes lowered. I don't know either. Just couldn't bear seeing you hurt. Luna had aimed that blade straight for my heart. Fortunately, Kevin Joe was tall enough that the injury missed vital areas. What are you going to do? I suddenly asked. Kevin Joe quickly understood my implication and gave a bitter laugh. We'll handle it as it should be, with the plain truth. But she was your wife in your past life, the mother of your child. I sat down on the adjacent bed. He whispered, but she killed you. I stayed silent. Kevin Joe coughed several times, his face contorting briefly with pain. Then he said hoarsely, Nan-ji, I truly know I was wrong. I made unforgivable mistakes before. His voice cracked, lips trembling uncontrollably. If I could change, would you? No. I cut him off. You saved me, but in that past life, I also died because of you. At best, we're even. Even taking a knife for me doesn't erase the harm you've done. His eyes reddened, jaw clenched tight to suppress a sob. But Nanji, you once said you'd always love me. Weariness washed over me. I gave a broken smile. Kevin Joe, love can be exhausted. You spent 10 years grinding mine to dust. Kevin Joe turned deathly pale, utterly lost. Sophia Shun, you can't do this. You were the one who first said you loved me. Before turning to leave, I cast one final glance backward. Kevin Joe had grown gaunt, his hospital gown hanging loosely on his frame. His features still carried traces of the boy I'd once loved, but his soul had aged beyond recognition. Perhaps we did love each other, just at the wrong time. But now, I said softly, Kevin Joe, I truly don't love you anymore. Even after exiting the ward, I could still hear his desperate wails. But, Sophia Shun, what about me? What was the point of me coming back then, just to hear you say you don't love me anymore? I might as well have stayed dead in that previous life. I lower my head, my eyes parched. No tears would come, because I'd cried them all dry in that other lifetime. I strode away, leaving those anguished cries behind me, until finally, they faded beyond hearing. Kevin Joe hadn't protected Luna Lin. She received a 7-year sentence for attempted murder. The university expelled her as well. Rumor had it her mother couldn't bear the shock and jumped to her death. I didn't attend the trial that day. In truth, I'd come to understand why Luna hated me so intensely. Less about Kevin Joe and more about her own consuming jealousy of me. Jealous that I had everything. She tried every means to steal Kevin Joe away, just to prove she could outdo me. When she realized she'd lost even Kevin Joe, she completely lost her mind. Rumor has it she went mad after learning of her mother's death, raving incoherently, even hurling abuse at the judge during sentencing. Of course, I made sure the news of that death reached her. I also had a word with my father, asking him to arrange for Luna Lynn to be taken care of in prison. I never forgot the drugging incident from our past life. In the end, she had to repay what she owed me. 3 years later, I married Luke Chen. His family spared no expense. A lavish banquet. Every influential figure in the city invited. The ceremony grand beyond measure. Just as we were about to take the stage, his secretary hurried over with a red envelope. It bore no markings. Mr. Chen, there's a $2 million check inside this envelope. Authenticated but anonymous. He frowned. What do we do with this? Luke and I exchanged glances, both knowing exactly who sent it. Kevin Joe had real grit. Even after his first startup failed, he bounced back swiftly and ultimately succeeded. Luke chuckled. Well, if someone's eager to throw money at us, we might as well take it. At that moment, my phone buzzed. A text message, an unknown number, sending just one abrupt message. If he ever treats you poorly, come back. I'll always wait for you. Luke Shin let out a derisive laugh. Then let him wait. He'll never see the day, not even in the next lifetime. I deleted the text right in front of him and blocked the number for good measure. Let's go. I linked arms with him and smiled. Everyone's waiting for us. Those sorrowful, tear-soaked nights would eventually fade into the past, and I would never look back. When I saw Sophia Shin again, I froze. Before me stood her 20-year-old self, radiant, brimming with vitality, utterly unlike the weary shadow etched in my memory. I couldn't recall how long it had been since I'd last seen her like this. My gaze clung to her, drinking her in with desperate hunger. It had been so long since I'd laid eyes on Sophia Shen. In my past life, when the butler told me she died, I refused to believe it, until I returned and saw her lifeless body. Strangely, in that moment, I felt absolutely nothing. The world around me dissolved. For several seconds, I saw nothing, heard nothing. Only when they frantically helped me up did I realize I'd collapsed. I asked the butler with eerie calm, did she leave any words behind? The butler shook his head. The mistress said nothing. Oh, so she hadn't left me a single word after all. Then again, we'd said everything there was to say between us. In our youth when she loved me, sweet nothings poured endlessly from her lips. Later, when we turned against each other, we dragged out every sore spot and flayed them raw. She cursed me to die wretched. I called her a willing whore. What more was there to say? Every good and bitter word had long since been exhausted. It was then I suddenly felt it, the dull ache spreading through my chest. At first it came needle-fine, not sharp but insidious, soon tunneling venomously until my heart resembled wormwood, the pain forcing me to my knees. I looked at Sophia Shun, lying perfectly still on the bed, utterly unresponsive. In the past, even at our most vicious, she'd have rushed to my side if she saw me like this. She was always that foolish. But now, she wouldn't even grant me a glance. Of course not. She was dead, gone completely, never to appear before me again. The thought brought no grief, only the eerie detachment of a bystander. My body and mind divorced from the heart, still throbbing in isolation. What now? What a nuisance. I thought, I have a meeting to attend tomorrow. Now, it'll have to wait. After all, I must arrange her funeral. My throat suddenly itched. I coughed a few times, only to see the butler's horrified expression. He stammered in panic. Sir, I looked down and saw crimson speckles staining my chest. Whose blood is this? I felt puzzled. Then the itch in my throat became unbearable. I violently coughed up a mouthful of blood. The butler nearly lost his mind, dragging me toward the hospital. Yet only one thought remained in my head. So this is my blood. After Sophia Shin died, I didn't shed a tear. I even went home to pack her belongings. She owns so little now. Odd, for someone who once adored luxury. The room stood barren, her wardrobe holding only a few no-name garments. Good, I thought, after all this entanglement between us. It's finally over. Until I opened the cabinet and saw shelves lined with medicinal oils. Back when I worked delivering food, I'd been in an accident. My leg injury flared up terribly during damp weather. These ointments, she'd had them specially formulated for me. Back then, I teased her for buying so much, but her eyes sparkled as she laughed and replied, "What if we can't get any later?" Yet, after marriage, I rarely came home, and every return was filled with arguments. I'd only used that medicinal oil a handful of times, not even half the bottle. It suddenly struck me then, we did have good times too. There was a time I found her endearing, but in the endless quarrels and wearing friction, we'd both become wretched caricatures of ourselves. I suddenly felt something warm and wet on my face. Reaching up to touch it, I realized I'd been weeping for who knows how long. After Sophia Shin died, I didn't forget her as quickly as I'd imagined. Instead, she haunted my dreams night after night, as if deliberately tormenting me. Sometimes it was our youth, her blushing as she handed me a lunchbox. Kevin Zhou, our housekeeper, made Wagyu beef cubes, the most delicious. Strange. Back then, I only saw her as spoiled and arrogant, my heart full of annoyance. Now, I suddenly realize how adorable her flushed cheeks were. Later, I learned those Wagyu cubes were her favorite dish. She'd been trying to share her greatest joy with me, with utterly unguarded sincerity. But back then, I simply wasn't worthy of such precious affection. The insecurities of youth made me hypersensitive, erecting defensive thorns that wounded anyone who dared come close. Sophia Shun came from a good family, was beautiful, adored by so many. I couldn't believe someone like her would ever love a worthless nobody like me. Rich people play too many games. She must have been toying with me, so I treated her worse and worse. I wanted her gone. She was some rare creature that had no business in my barren, darkened world, disrupting my entire ecosystem, leaving me floundering. Yet in her refusal to retreat, I kept selfishly testing her love for me. How pathetic, how despicable. After marriage, things between us seemed to improve slightly, but Luna Lin never let me forget that she and I would always inhabit different worlds. She was right. The bag I proudly bought her with my first paycheck, just some out-of-season item her college suitors had already gifted years prior. What about me could possibly be worthy of her love? I didn't understand my own heart back then. I thought I truly hated her, yet I couldn't stop drawing closer. I kept bringing Luna Lin before her, morbidly savoring that flicker of affection whenever I saw the wounded look in her eyes. See, she still cares about me. Later, she transformed again in my dreams. She lay on a hospital bed, clutching a faceless child, weeping with utter despair. She said, "Kevin Zhou, give me back my child." Then I'd jolt awake, sleepless through the night. This repeated daily, sometimes bringing me twisted joy, other times sheer terror. I had no choice but to consult a spiritual master. I asked him, "Master, does she harbor some unresolved attachment? Should I perform rites to guide her soul to peace?" The master studied me for a long moment before sighing. "Patron," he said, palms pressed together with pity, "the one who cannot let go is not her." That day, I sat on the mountainside for hours before understanding. The one who couldn't move on was me. The truth was, I'd loved her all along. 3 years after Sophia Shin's death, I began descending into madness. I ignored Luna and the child entirely. No matter how she raged, I'd only coldly reply, "You insisted on having this child. It has nothing to do with me." On Sophia's birthday, I washed down 2 bottles of sleeping pills with liquor. To ensure it would end, I slit my wrists as well. The unbearable pain gradually numbed. A sudden breeze brushed past my eyes. The sunlight was warm, the chirping of sparrows ringing in my ears. My hand was suddenly clasped by something soft. Turning my head, I saw the smiling face of 20-year-old Sophia Shun. "Kevin Zhou," she chided with a laugh. Why did you take so long to come? I gazed at her for a long time until my vision blurred with rising warmth. Then I slowly turned and hugged her, tightening my arms with each passing second. Startled, she pushed at me. What are you doing? You're hurting me. But then she returned the embrace, laughing softly. What's wrong with you? Did you miss me? My voice cracked with tears. Yes, Sophia. Or 20. But now, if only time could freeze in that moment forever. Better than hearing her say she no longer loved me. Only then did I realize even 1,000 arrows through the heart would hurt less. I lay on the bed, weeping until my voice gave out. If this was how it would end, why bring me back at all? I thought I could win her back, rewrite our tragedy. Instead, I lost her completely. My heart ached so violently I could barely breathe, laughing and sobbing like a madman. I thought I'd gone mad, yet I felt more lucid than ever before. With crystalline clarity, I understood. My rebirth had only ever been for atonement, to taste every ounce of suffering she'd endured. Death wasn't true departure. Now, only now, had she truly left me completely, and all my remaining days would be spent drowning in this bottomless despair, never to surface again.